Welcome to the Buddha Teaching channel. I am delighted to accompany you on this journey of exploring the valuable knowledge and lessons derived from Buddhist teachings. Here, we will delve into and practice the insights that bring us closer to enlightenment. Today, we will explore a very important topic, the power of non-reaction. Let us discover how to apply this lesson in our daily lives, enabling us to cultivate our minds and seek inner peace. Join me in this exploration right now. One day, the Buddha and his disciples were passing through a village known for its rude and aggressive inhabitants. As they entered the village, the locals began to shout insults and use harsh words to demean the Buddha and his monastic followers. They yelled, mocked, and continually sought to provoke the group into losing their composure. The Buddha's disciples were astonished by this behavior, but chose not to respond, instead following the steps of their master. After a while, one disciple, unable to contain himself, asked the Buddha, "Master, why do you not respond to these insults? They are clearly trying to provoke and offend us. What should we do to protect our dignity and honor?" The Buddha smiled gently, maintaining his calm and composed demeanor. He replied thoughtfully, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does that gift belong?" The disciple was slightly confused, but after a moment of reflection, he responded, "Of course, if I do not accept the gift, it still belongs to the giver." The Buddha nodded and explained, "Similarly, if we do not accept anger, resentment, or insults, they cannot harm us. They will remain with those who uttered them. We are only harmed when we allow our emotions to be controlled by the harsh words of others. Others may yell at us, but if our hearts remain unmoved, their words hold no power over us." Another disciple inquired, "But Master, how can we maintain our tranquility as you do when faced with such offenses?" The Buddha gently replied, "We must always remember that all emotions are impermanent. Anger, resentment, and joy are merely fleeting waves of feeling. If we can recognize them without attachment, we will not be swept away by them. By practicing mindfulness, focusing on the present, and refraining from hasty reactions to what happens, we can master our minds. This not only helps us maintain our peace, but also protects us from the harm that negative emotions can bring." Upon hearing these words, the Buddha's disciples felt a sense of clarity within. They understood that true strength lies not in retaliation or response, but in the ability to uphold a pure spirit and remain undisturbed by life's challenges. The story of non-reaction spread throughout the village. The villagers who initially harbored ill feelings towards the Buddha and his disciples began to realize that they were the ones inflicting harm upon themselves through their anger and resentment. They felt ashamed of their actions and gradually changed their attitudes, becoming more gentle. From that point on, the villagers understood that true power does not come from defeating others with words or actions, but from conquering oneself, overcoming anger and resentment. Through the Buddha's teachings, they learned a valuable lesson about inner peace, a peace that cannot be shaken by the world around them. The Buddha taught that not reacting to insults and anger is one of the most powerful ways to protect the soul and maintain peace. In life, we cannot control how others treat us, but we can control how we respond. Through mindfulness and non-attachment, we can overcome life's challenges without allowing our spirits to be harmed. It is important to understand that emotions such as anger, happiness, and sadness are merely parts of life. They come and go. We should not be swept away by these feelings. Instead, we should remain calm and patient, taking control of our lives without being carried away by fleeting emotions. If we reflect on our lives, we will see that in a world filled with stressful situations, it is easy to get caught up in chaos. However, by paying attention to our emotions and learning to control them, we can master our feelings and create positive change in our lives. Buddhism teaches that life is a series of changes, impermanence, and all emotions are forms of that impermanence. Instead of being drawn in by temporary feelings, we should learn to remain calm and live in awareness. When we recognize that emotions are temporary, we will understand that they do not have the power to bind us unless we allow them to. Patience and calmness are the keys that help us navigate our lives without being swayed by fleeting states of mind. Looking back on our lives, we see that this world is filled with stressful and chaotic situations. Sometimes, even a small incident can lead to confusion, anxiety, or anger. If we do not maintain mindfulness, we can easily be swept away by the current of negative emotions. We often think that life is causing us suffering, but in reality, it is our reactions to life that are the root of our pain. Buddhism advises us that maintaining mindfulness in every moment of our lives is the most effective method to free ourselves from the influence of emotions. In this way, we can recognize emotions as they arise without attachment. We need to understand that emotions are not our enemies, but an essential part of life. They are not inherently wrong, but if we allow them to dictate our actions without reflection, the consequences can be painful. Decisions made in moments of anger, disappointment, or even in excited joy are often not wise, and we may pay the price for those hasty actions with regret later on. To master our emotions, the first step we need to take is to learn to identify the triggers that activate these emotions. These triggers can be an event that occurs, a memory from the past, or even just a small comment or action from someone else. For each person, the triggers can vary greatly. For example, one person may become angry when criticized at work, while another may feel sadness upon seeing an image that evokes a painful memory. Once we have identified the triggers, the next step is to observe the emotions they generate within us without judgment. This is an important aspect of mindfulness practice. When we can observe our emotions without reacting immediately, we begin to see their true nature. They are merely fleeting waves that will dissipate if we do not cling to them. Additionally, we can apply techniques to soothe our emotions when they become too intense, such as practicing deep breathing, meditation, or simply pausing to rest. When our emotions settle, we can reflect and respond more calmly and rationally. This not only helps us avoid regret over thoughtless actions, but also brings us inner peace and freedom. Emotions are not our enemies, but they can become a source of suffering if we allow them to govern our lives. To live a truly peaceful and happy life, we must learn to manage our emotions rather than letting them control us. Buddhism teaches that when we can recognize and master our emotions, we will no longer be swept away by the impermanence of life. Instead, we will become the helmsman, firmly navigating through the sea of existence, at peace amidst all storms and chaos. We cannot control the outside world, but we can fully control how we respond to it. This is the path to inner freedom and liberation from suffering, the path that the Buddha has shown us through the teachings of mindfulness, patience, and compassion. If we act hastily based on our emotions, we may later regret our actions. Therefore, to control our emotions, the first thing we need to do is identify our emotional triggers. Emotional triggers are those things that make us feel angry or upset. These triggers can differ for each person and may include events, memories, or even specific words or actions. Not reacting is a skill that helps us maintain our peace of mind, preventing temporary events or emotions from leading us astray, allowing us to live a more peaceful and meaningful life. I hope you will apply this lesson in your daily life to find true peace and happiness. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. Please continue to follow the Buddha Teaching channel to discover more valuable lessons from Buddhist teachings. I look forward to seeing you in the next videos.